Good morning to everyone that is coming into our event. We're just going to take a minute or two just to let others come into the event, and then we will get started. So thank you so much for joining today. Okay. Again, just another reminder for everyone coming in. We're just going to take another minute before starting our event this morning. Thank you. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. All right. So good morning and good evening to everyone who is joining us today. Thank you for coming and hearing our panel discussion for our third webinar episode for our series, Burma's Breaking Points, Destruction, and Karenni State. If you have been following our webinar series, we have covered a couple of different states so far with different themes. We initially started off with crisis in current state, then we spoke about exploitation in Mon State, and today we're going to talk about the level of destruction that is happening in Karenni State. Today we're honored to have three guests with us today who have worked on the ground in Karenni State and can talk about what is happening on the ground, the level of destruction that is being experienced, and the atrocities that are being committed by the Burmese junta. But before I get started in introducing our speakers, I do want to go over a few minutes about housekeeping, some of the housekeeping rules. For our Q&A session, we have a box which you'll find at the bottom of your screen. You can type in your questions at any time. Please add the names of your speakers if there's anyone you want to specifically address the question to. Two of our speakers will also be speaking in Burmese. So when it is their turn for the moderated discussion, to hear the English interpretation, please go to the bottom of the screen again and click on the globe. This will then have a drop-down box where you can pick between Burmese and English. Please click on the English interpretation. So let's go ahead and get started. We're very excited for our speakers who are coming in today. They're going to bring in their experiences, their perspectives, and what is happening on the ground. Our first panelist today is Banya Khung. He is a former Karenni refugee. He is active in the human rights activist movement in Burma and has served in several positions in the exile democracy and civil society movements. He was the Child Rights Program Coordinator at the Human Rights Education Institute of Burma, also known as Equality Myanmar, and then the Deputy Director of the Foundation for Education and Development in Thailand. He was appointed and currently serves as the Karenni State Consultative Council's humanitarian focal person. He is also the founder and director of the Karenni Human Rights Group. Next up, we have Maw Pray Myar. After completing her studies at ACMTC in 2011, Maw Pray Myar began her professional journey with the Karenni National Women's Organization in 2012 as an officer. Over the past decade, she has progressively taken on greater leadership and management responsibilities within the organization. From 2024 until 2028, She was elected as chairperson of KNWO, providing overall strategic leadership and organizational direction. In addition to her responsibilities within KNWO, she serves as a policy board member of the Women's League of Burma from 2019 to 2025. From 2025 until 2028, she will continue her engagement with WLB as an advisory board member representing KNWO. And throughout her career, she has worked closely with Karenni stakeholders, civil society organizations, and other ethnic groups to promote women's access to justice, women, peace and security, and women's rights initiatives. Our third panelist today is Aung Zay Ya. He is the deputy leader of the Karenni Free Burma Rangers and a senior combat medic. With a background as a mechanical engineer before the 2021 political crisis, he transitioned into humanitarian relief work to support communities affected by conflict. He graduated from FBR training in 2022 as a senior combat medic instructor for the FBR's combat medical course. He plays a vital role in training frontline medics. He has extensive on-the-ground experience in conflict zones, where he leads rescue operations and monitors, documents, and reports on human rights violations committed by the military junta. His work is dedicated to providing life-saving medical care and amplifying the voices of the people of Karenni State and Burma to the international community. Thank you all for joining us today. So I'd like to move on to our moderated discussion. Banya, I'd like to start with you about the current situation in Karenni State and how aerial attacks on civilians are shaping daily life, displacement, and people's sense of safety. This has been going on for over 5 years now, with displacement patterns evolving in Karenni State. Can you talk a bit about what are the main challenges displaced families face in accessing shelter, food, and basic services? And this is especially in light of the barriers that currently exist, such as the junta blockades or insecurities on the ground that are preventing the aid from reaching the people who need it most. So in what ways are Karenni people struggling to support themselves and their families amid ongoing violence and aid shortages? And what coping strategies or community responses are emerging in the face of these pressures?
Thank you so much, friends, and also thanks for all friends who were here together with us, and also the panel to also. And also, may I add only one point before going to the questions answer. Um, uh, Currently, I'm also serve as secretary two of IEC. So may I split out in the two manner. The first manner is the and in the concept of the governing structure and also as a founder of the human rights organization. So we are doing such a lot of the regular and continuously documented human rights violations in Ukrainian state. So but we know after the coup in 2021, so Ukrainian state is one of the more or less and one of the first ever the war that started in Ukrainian state. So you see that since 2021, the people were being fled from their hometown. And I always keep saying there's, all the part of the Ukrainian state, especially all the township, all the town in Ukrainian state were being impacted directly by conflict. And also thousands of people were being fled from the city and to the more remote area or the village. This is one thing that I want to keep saying that this is made people life more harder. Training state is one of the smallest, one of the poorest in Burma. Only people were enjoying life in the city before the coup. And in the deep jungle in a village, you will see there are a lot of hardness of the transportations, the difficulty of the life of people in schooling, children, and also the health equipment and facility are not properly. Only in the city, like especially in the Loico, Dimoso, Pruso, and Panza and you will see in the Bola camp, something like that. Some of the small city like Mese and Sharo, which some of the facility, but it's very limited. But now nobody, a lot of thousands of people have been fled from the city to a deeper jungle or to the village. So been facing severe hardships. One thing that I can say that health is one of the crucial needs, crucially, how do you say, hardship for the people being fled from the city or nearby the city to the more deeper jungle or in the camp. So this is one thing that we've been facing, the how to say, the lack of the human facility and also the lack of the not adequate medicines and supply for the regular how to say care. And other hands, not only about the healthcare. Also, when you look back to the we call the food security issue, so a large number of the farming acre were nearby Loicor and the Timor. So if you look on the map, you will see the flat land is the farming land. But now this area become the comfort zone between the armed organization of the Karenni armed group and with the military junta. So people are not there to grow or to farming the land in that area. It's called another, we call the hashina of the people being queue for the food security issue. And at the same time, since 2022, the SAC were blocked, especially blocked the international, how to say, humanitarian assistance from the LICO to the other area, the other part, or the other part of Ukraine state, or the other area of people being coverings, of people who've been flicked from the city to the jungle. And also the medical supply from Yangon to Mandalay were very hardly restricted since 2023. In the early 2023, all the shop, all the owner, all the vendor have to report what kind of the medicine they had to show their license that they were doing only business in the waiting in the local. But 1,000 people have been flagged from the local already, and the other. So this is one thing that crucially we can see that the restriction and the blockage of the humanitarian assistance and a health facility is the one thing that concerning so much. And keep going on. Till now to today, the people in the city, even though now the lack of city were back to some partly about 40 to 50% of the normal life. The few people were there, but main of the people, about 250,000 people in the conflict area, been facing, and at least 1,500 people are 150,000 people are in daily need of the humanitarian assistance. For today, we don't. I don't want to say for many days, but just today in the noon time, two children, one is a 10-year-old girl, one is a 6-year-old boy, were killed by military junta. That's we call the bomb, mortar shelling and drone attack. See, it's people are not skilled. People have been facing the problem of the food security, concern of food issue, concern on health, education, and now being facing the normal or everyday daily attack by the military, by food, land fools, and also by the air fools, and being also killed for the daily. Just 2 weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, the one of the pastor were being killed by airstrike without no reasons. They're bombing two, three places targeted to civilian and then our IDP community without no fighting, no military issue in that area. May I say that this is the concerning? It's about not only the food security, it's about not only the physical fear. This is more mentally fear for the people in the current state. No, we can see the more troops were sent from the other part of the Burma to the state, and they try to advance in so many areas. This is being facing people in the more deeper, force people more flex into more deeper to the jungle, and it means people are being forced to flee one, two, three times, 4 times, more than 4 times. Sometimes it's making people in more dangerous concerns, dangerous conditions. For example, we build one small hut already one place, and another 1 or 2 year people need to be flit again. So it's quite a lot. And also, when you flit to a new area, you need to spend another life, and you need to rebuild your life over there. And also, this is one of the concerns that people lost a lot of energy. People lost a lot of their sources that they have been, and also the 5 year already. They cannot go back to their hometown. This is the condition in Ukraine state so far. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing, Banya. I think that what really gripped me was where you shared the most recent targeted attack that killed 2 children, which just happened today. And I think this is a reality a lot of people do really need to hear about because this is not just simply news that is just going to be, pushed into the news cycle and then pushed out 2 days later. This is something that's consistently happening since 2021 and even prior, and it's just only intensified. So we really need to hear these types of stories, or at least people really need to have an understanding. And to do so, they need to hear it, and hear so directly from individuals such as yourself. So thank you for sharing that, Banya. Maw Pray Myar, I would like to turn to you and just really quick to our audience. Maw Pray Myar will be speaking in Burmese, so if you have not done so, please go to the globe at the bottom of the screen, click on it, and click on English, so that way you can hear the English interpretation. Okay, so Maw Pray Myar, we've heard from Banya about the overall situation on the ground in Karenni State, and he highlighted some instances in which, or he highlighted some of the most recent attacks that happened today. So I want to go and focus a bit more uniquely, or not so much uniquely, I want to focus more on what's happening to women and girls in Karenni estates and specific risks that they face during these types of attacks and even immediately after. What are some of the main difficulties women and girls also experience within the displacement camps, and how do issues like lack of privacy, inadequate sanitation, insufficient safety measures affect their daily lives? Because when we look at it through a gendered lens, there's an additional struggle that women and girls face when they're trying to access all of this, especially as a displaced woman or girl or living under ongoing conflict. So, additionally, how does gender-based violence and sexual violence, how is it being used and further exacerbated in this conflict? And if there's any protections or support services, what are available for these women and girls who are surviving these attacks and who are at more risk of such violence?
Thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to participate in this event. And I'd like to talk about to highlight the situation that women and children face in the Karenni state. Just like Banya talked earlier, the junta's airstrikes are targeting more on women and children, and on that, and there are, and this is getting too much on women and children since the men are taking part in combats, and there are some women as well at the front lines involving in the combats. Therefore, there are children and elders who are left behind when there when the airstrikes came. So the men and women have to take them back to the hiding places. At the same time, in our state, the internet is cut off and it is getting difficult. And additionally, with the airstrikes, so our women haven't got enough information to get to know what's going to happen. And because of that, there is lack of communication and the information arrives late and the civilians don't get to know about the arrival of the jets, the fighter jets. So they get killed. So because of using these ammunitions and the airstrikes, the pregnant women, a lot of them have to run, and they feel insecure, and a lot of them even don't know, like, are not aware of their pregnancy, and they have to run away and causing abortions. There are women who are 2 months and pregnant, and there are unborn children who are dead. So it's like the whole state became the refugees. And since a lot of women and children have to go to the mountains for the hiding places, it is unsafe with the huts and also with the plastic sheets. They have they are they have to be afraid of the airstrikes, and they are also afraid of the junta soldiers' threats regarding the bathroom and also the toilets. They need a lot of support in there. At night as well, when they have to travel to bathrooms like a little bit far, and they are afraid of getting raped, they have to stay in the dark. And also women's sanitary pads, they cannot afford it due to the rising cost of pets. So because of the rising cost, now previously they were only 500, now it rises to 2,500. So they are suffering a lot. There are teenagers who are at the age of going to school, like they are because of the age gap, they are shy and they don't want to go to school. And the school drop-off rate has been increasing. On the other hand, in the revolution, so we are striving for the women leadership in the revolution, but due to those difficulties, women are difficult to be in a leading role. And because of the difficulties in transportation and in communication, like, we cannot report them, and we cannot get to the places where we can be treated justly when the women are raped and the women are tortured, they feel injustice. So there is the threat of, number one, the airstrikes and the combats. They don't want to go to those places to get support. There is very few opportunity to get those services. And regarding the agriculture, there is no market for the women to work on that. They don't have income anymore. So poverty level is rising. A lot of people are getting poor. In addition to that, there is poverty as well as sexual exploitation. So the medical care system has already collapsed. So the um, the organization is trying to support its people as much as it can. However, it's not enough, and they cannot help the women now with the um, birth control. They have to travel several nights and days to get to those clinics. Also, the basic food, water, and reproductive health, we have those issues with those things as well. Since we don't have enough food, the mothers, women have to prioritize feeding their children, and therefore the women don't get enough food, enough nutrition. So they are suffering also with the malnutrition. So both the women and children are encountering this huge issue with malnutrition in the refugee camps. So just like Banya talked earlier, within these 1 and 2 days, some women, children died while traveling to the clinics. So a lot of them also have no knowledge of medicine, and they receive help from people who are non-medical in order to give birth, and they die as well. There is limitation in equipment, medicines, and IUDs. So women also get pregnant, although they don't want it. So regarding the vocation, if the women go back to work in their villages, they're hit with landmines and with the bombs that come from drones. They're not free to do anything. This political instability and also the economic pressure and gender imbalance cause the domestic violence, sexual exploitation in our state. Since we cannot work in our own place, we have to migrate to other countries, and they are treated unfairly. Some of them are sold. And if we look at the data from 2021 to 2025, SGGB and GBB, we see that these cases arrive to us. And there are a lot of other areas that cannot report those cases to us. As I said earlier, due to the political issues, and the women have to try really hard to get out of it, and they're also burdened with the domestic issues. So there are also online sexual harassments. So our women groups are working on managing the counselings and helping the women with, like, if they want to receive legal support, we refer them to those groups who can help them. We're trying our best to provide them safe house if for the emergency needs. So we give them awareness on how to get the necessary support. However, there is a high percentage of need. We have got too much challenge on those women's problems.
Thank you so much, Maw Pray Myar. You shared so much and so much information in your answer. We heard how these attacks, the airstrikes, the targeted attacks. There's a lot of consequences to these. It's not simply targeting the civilians, but we're seeing an increase in gender-based violence and sexual violence among women and girls. We're seeing interrupted education. We're seeing the struggle to provide necessary life-saving health services to the impacted and vulnerable populations. And I think this actually goes into our next panelist for Aung Zay Ya, because Aung Zay Ya, you have such a unique perspective because of your work responding to emergencies. So I'd like to go to you next. As an emergency response leader for Free Burma Rangers in Karenni State, Maw Pray Myar and Banya, they spoke at length of what is happening on the ground. So how is your team responding to these devastating airstrikes and other conflict-related injuries? And what steps are you taking with your team to deliver urgent medical services? I mean, there's great difficulties in facing serious injuries with limited resources and equipment and medications, especially with how the Burmese junta is stalling humanitarian aid. How are you able to adapt your medical care under these constraints? And what specific barriers are you encountering?
Yeah, firstly, I just want to thank to the gods who gathering all together and then give me a chance to speak in this panel. Yeah, for this question, so our Green Freedom Ranger thing, we have 5 different township based on the township. So if the area were area station, if we hear about the airstrike or mortar attack to the civilian, we just got the information from the local administration or IEC and also some of the ethnic AMS group and some of the villager. So after that, when you get the information, we send our team. So in our team, we have we send with the track and also medic team sent to the place where airstrike by the military hunter, and then we treat the casualty, we evacuate to the hospital. After that, we make a document and report, get the news out for that situation. So someone, as you know, the Karenni is a small area, but we have a different area. Some of the area our freedom ranger can reach out. So for that area, we conducted like early warning and early response training. This training is including like for example, how to take a cover during artillery attack and airstrike, and also we teach the first aid to the student and the IDB and the villager. If they have a casualty during attack, how do they have to start the bleeding before the rescuing show up? So that's one thing. For some of the area, so the rescuing cannot reach out on time because of the like Banya and Maw Pray Myar already told, we have challenging on the transportation. So it's like a far away. So if we have a casualty, even the rescue didn't reach out on the time, but it take like a more than 2 hour, 3 hour evacuate the casualty to the hospital. So that's our one challenging. And also another part is for the frontline Medicare provide assistance. So when the military hunter SAC troop they advance to the village or something like that, the resistant armed group they trying to stop that and then trying to protect the villager. So when you get the information, we send our team before the attack, or we send our recon team first, and then we recon the terrain area, how many IDV is there, how we have to evacuate to the safe place. So that's another thing we we did that before the battle. And then during the battle, we have 4 different things. Number one is rescue team. Number two is ambulance team. Ambulance team is like a porter team. They carry the casualty and carry the casualty from the front line to our forward CCB. So number three is a forward CCB. Forward CCB is stand for forward casualty collection point. So on that area, on that position, we have our advanced medic who stabilize the casualty, and then we send back to our main CCB or surgical place. So on the main CCB, we have more human resource, like a more advanced medic, and then they stabilize the casualty. After that, we evacuate them to the hospital. So the challenging we facing is for the better. So some of the bit better, we use all the medical supply, and then it's not easy to refill on time. That's really challenging for us. Yeah. So, and also military funder, they block every supply to the resistant area, especially medicine. If you are the truck driver, so if you bring the medicine on your truck, if they find out only a checkpoint issue, the truck driver torture and then investigate, and then they ban down all the medicine from the truck. So, and also they put the truck driver to the jail. So there's a lot of things we face in the in Karenni. And also there is no safe place in the Karenni. So for our team, number one is God. So we pray and then we think and we do the action. So also for our security and our team, we keep our office and our team in the jungle. So we trying to protect from the drone or aircraft. If they saw it like a camel, something like that, they will be sure airstrike and target by the mortar. So sometimes, well, we lost a lot of our friend and family and our people, but we won't give up because we have to stand with the oppressed people. And yeah, so that's why we keep doing this a lot of the thing. So for the airstrike, if we send the rescue team, so number one, another challenging is, so if we send our team to the airstrike area, so number thing we have to take care about is number one, animal scout drone, because if you go to that area like on the nighttime, so sometimes SAC they find the drone on the sky, they scouting. They scouting how many truck came in. So after airstrike, like after 5 minutes or 15 minutes, they launcher they open the artillery attack again to the same spot. So that's a more challenging for our rescuing. Yeah. Thank you. It is round. Yeah, that's my question for you. My answer for your question.
Thank you so much, Aung Zay Ya. I mean, you just really highlighted the links that the Burmese junta really goes on a daily basis in preventing humanitarian aid, from tracking trucks to surveying with drones and arresting drivers. It really shows not just how far they're willing to go with airstrikes, but how far they're willing to even prevent aid or emergency services to reaching people in need. I think with that, I think I would like to now turn to our go to our next round of questions in which we talk about coordination. So we have a sense of what is happening on the ground, the devastation that is being experienced by the people, how targeted attacks are impacting the people, as well as your work in supporting them. Banya, I'd like to come back to you in talking about how civil society and the IEC, given your position there, how are you all collaborating to support these impacted communities? And if you can share what specific roles each group plays in crisis response and community rebuilding, because it's really important to hear how you all are coming together and working together to provide some sort of response or direct support to the civilians, whether it's medical care, food distribution, and shelter. And if you can share what policies or programs are being put together and implemented to create or to fill critical gaps in the healthcare and education systems that you all have shared so far, and how do these initiatives address the most urgent needs of displaced and conflict-affected populations?
Yes, thank you, Karen. So, first of all, we admit that the condition of the humanitarian conditions and also the conflict, the run of the conflict, and also the poverty of the people are being in the critical conditions. As I mentioned, Karenni state is one of the poorest states and also one of the smallest states and also the landlocked state. And also people so much were, how to say, depressing, because one of the states that with the most longer civil war in Burma they've been facing, and also I can say after the coup, that I mentioned, we are facing the first state that been uh, into the combining or into the conflict era. Um, yes, in sin early the after the coup, when the people flee from the city to the jungle, to the village, uh, we are closely at the time I myself working as the civil society and also present myself as a representative to the KSCC, Korean State Contractor Council. I play and they've been asked me to focus on to working on the humanitarian at the time. So we've been working closely with the the civil society and the faith-based organization. And also we get a lot of the encouragement from the ERO, we call the ethnic arm organization at the time. And also we're so pleased to the international community, especially the diaspora from Burma, from Karenni, and also the other like the diaspora of community from Burma. Like I still remember I have a friends, even though we never know each other, but we've been friends because of we've been supporting each other. There are friends for Karens that I never met before in my life, even though I didn't know, I cannot see, I don't see their face till now. They keep supporting a lot. We have a friend from Mons, we have a friend from Burmese, Chins, and Rakhine, Chin, and also Shans. That we never know each other before. But when the time comes, they are playing at a role at a civil society and also playing the how to say we call the our with her supporting nets to each other in the early steps. So this is our pleasure. But after a long, it's not long, it's like 2 or 3 a year, and you see people are so tired, and then the Myanmar or the Burmese economies were totally in they say the dumpstep now. So people were not earn that much, and also many bank or many KP bank or bank were being switched and blocked and also arrested by the military junta. So people are being fear, and also people who live in abroad. So they've been supporting many sectors. So make them so tired. And at the same time, we can say that our collaborations are not our coordination are not reduced. Financially, we might reduce sums, but mentally and mentally and also support is still ongoing. But I can say that we've been facing more challenging after 2025 after the January. This is something that we feel very upset with the international community. But we also keep alive by what we do. We just try to coordinate amongst ourselves. And at the time, the emerging of the IC and also emerging of the township administrative together with the civil society. We've been met several times. We've been to have a regular meeting with the civil society, favorite organization, and sharing our entity, sharing our resources, what particular area that we've been support each other. Not only the food security is now it's about all everything. When you look at the educations, still the parents are being paid for their children for school fee, even if it's small amounts. But for them, the small amount is huge. IEC or the civil society trying to lobby, trying to grab up some the financial assistance from overseas, from the international community or the donor. But the amount of the assistance will reduce every day, even today. And at the same time, we've been taught a lot with the farmer. Now, sometimes we don't work with only the international community, with the civil society. And so we talk with the farmer. We have a regular meeting with the farmer. They are not the union. I mean the farmer who really grow paddy rice and it's trying to sell these rice. And then we ask them, please don't sell all of this rice to the other part of the Burma because we current states we have very small lands. Family land is very just little acre that we can grow, and then we've been blocked, restricted by the military governments to transport into our areas. So we did talk to them. We're trying to encourage them to sell in the most cheaper price wherever they could. They grow, they sell this rice paddy to us for humanitarian assistance in very, not the commercial price, very, we call humanitarian concerns prices. This is, you see, the farmer have been sacrificed. They have been in dangerous conditions. 2 years ago, the farmer lost a lot of land by flooding. They opened the dam in the upper stream of the Bilu River. A lot of flat land, a lot of farmland were flooded. It had been 2 years. Also, weather condition also. There was so much rains last 2 years. So the farmer been the loss, but they kept growing rice, selling rice at the more cheaper price to us. You see, this is not only about we can say the international community. Also, this is about the farmer themselves, the Korean people themselves, and then we so thanks to the international community that being key support us. Even though your little support, it's for our lives. More than that, we try to work with the other or to say like a free brain Burma as you mentioned already, and our brother mentioned already. You see, this is how the coordination between the Free Burma Ranger with the IEC, some of the IEC departments, and then they rescue the people from the front line or the rescue people from the village, and then they're taken into the place, and then the township administrative were given the lands, and then we build the small hut together for them, for the people. This is whatever we have. Building a small hut, we need not only tarpaulin, we need bamboo. Where this bamboo come from? This come from the villager who grow, who have owned this bamboo. They sell at a very cheap price. Sometimes we get for free a lot already. 2 year, 3 year, we get free. We stay in their farmlands. We grow some food, vegetable in their lands. So the villager themselves, even though they are not the IDP, but they are being affected by the conflict. They lost their economies. They lost their, how to say, the market, sell market. They lost their telecommunication. They lost their children education. They don't have a proper health foundation institutions, but they've been supported still. So in deeply, I can say that we are being merging in more meaningful administrative. So far, we call it border of federalism. It's not about the politics sometimes. We try to create these platforms in order to serve the people. Administration is not only the governing people asking the tax. No, it's about how to facilitate the civil society together, working together with faith-based organization with township administrator or IEC himself. And then this is the platform that whatever we can secure. Sometimes we've been asked for the other partner or organization or the other we call the international donor or the governments that what ways can we work together with you? He said, we say yes. But in many times, a lot of donor cannot work directly with IEC. It's more functioning like the governance body. So we also keep asking the international community. Here we have some of the trusted CSO that we've been working together for a year already. And here is you can trust. Here is a we trust them. It's not about only the funding skill, it's about the trust amongst ourselves with the international community. We are merging. It's not about the create a new system, a new how to say we call the actor. We create a space for the people, for the civil society, for the farmer itself, for the international government, international body to work together to solve or to come off or to recovery the difficulty of the people together. This is what we are merging ourselves. Finally, in the second question, I can say that we are so much looking forward to working together with different sector, faith-based organizations, charity, but in the concept of the respected conditions, respected human beings, not about for something that we never know. I mean, something that we never know is not about the power. It's about the people. It's about innocence, women and the elders, children and women, and also people who've been directly or indirectly affected by this war, this conflict. Yeah, thank you so much. Karen, you are mute.
I just realized I was muted. But I wanted to just say that, Banya, what you just shared, that, what is happening in Karenni State is not just limited to those who are displaced, but beyond that. So I think your example of sharing of what is happening to farmers and those who are unable to access, consistent and steady livelihood is very much impacted. But I do like where you shared that you've created, not just you, but everyone are coming together on a specific platform to work together to fill that gap. And it was just really interesting to hear how you are working with farmers and in supporting in what way you can with their livelihood, but then taking what you're buying and turning it into humanitarian aid. And I think that's very unique, a very unique project that you have. So it's really great to hear that you're working with civil society, different groups of people, and you're very open to working with others in addition, just to continue to support the people on the ground. So I think I would like to then now turn to Maw Pray Myar. And then again, for those who have come in, Maw Pray Myar will be using an interpreter. So if you want to go to the bottom of the screen, click on the globe and select English so you can hear her, please do so now. But Maw Pray Myar, we just heard about how IEC, the CSOs and EROs are working together from Banya. So I would like to get a bit of your perspective on how women organizations are collaborating to support women and girls. And I know you touched on this a little bit when you were in our first round of questions. So can you go a bit deeper into these collaborations, some of the specific services or programs that you're providing to meet this unique needs from women and girls, especially for those who are experiencing sexual violence and gender-based violence? And then how are women organizations working together with other CSOs and the IEC in providing that support, but as well as educating communities too on women's rights and the strategies you're using to raise awareness about what's happening to women and girls and to prevent further violations and atrocities against them as well. So can you're more than welcome to share on what I've just asked. Thank you, Maw Pray Myar.
Yeah. ဆိုတော့ but ဒုတိယအကြိမ်အနေနဲ့ပြန်တွေ့ဆုံရတာဝတ်တာနေပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့ KNWO
I'm
ကတော့
glad
ကျမ
to
တို့
meet
ဒီ
you the second time.
ပေါင်း33ကျော်ကြာပေါ့နော်ကျမတို့ရဲ့
So
grade
over 33 years,
ဒီ design မပေါ့
the KNWO, like, it's actively working
အခုဆိုလို့ရှိရင်
together
ဒီ
for the women's and
ဖြစ်လာတဲ့အခါမှာ
children's
ပို့ပြီးတော့
rights.
မြင့်ပို့တိုးမြင့်လောက်ရတဲ့ဟာမျိုးဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့နော်အထူးသဖြင့်
In this conflict, time of conflict, we have to work more on that in order to amplify the voices of those affected people. So protecting women's rights, KNW is like, so they're helping with the interim governance.
ကျမတို့ပုံမှာပေါ့နော်တလမဟုတ်ရင်လည်းနှစ်လတစ်ကြိမ်ဥမာ GBB coordination meeting ပုံစံမျိုးကိုကျမ
So we
တို့
do
လုပ်တယ်
GVB
ပေါ့နော်
coordination meeting like a month, once in 1 month or 2 months, alternately. So we have the collaboration of Karenni State Police and those revolutionary forces, also the administration and activists in the villages. So we have the collaboration of those women and our groups work together in the refugee camps. So because of the ultimate of the conflict, we discuss together the needs of the people that are affected. So we do what we in our area, what we can do. So we hold meetings such as this.
ဒီအမျိုးသမီးတွေဆယ်ကျော်သက်တွေကကလေးတွေအဆုံးပေါ့နော်အသက်ကြီးတဲ့သူကစပိုတွေ့တာပါလဲဆိုတော့ဒီ
So what we notice mostly is, the trauma. It's increasing. Some women have to sleep while listening to the sound of the fighter jets, and they are afraid every night, like worrying about the threat of the airstrike, especially in the rainy season, because they have to sleep under the cover of the plastic sheets. So they have to sometimes suddenly get up and run. So because of that, they are getting upset and they don't eat anymore. Like they want to stay isolated from other people. They have psychological drama, and there is nobody to encourage them, counsel them. And there are women who cannot take care of their children even. So we are conducting programs that promote their psychological awareness, like just like we celebrate International Women's Day. So we try to promote their awareness on the women's health. Right? Like we have these special days, like we invite them and cook food together. So we encourage each other. And regarding the safe house, KNW has a place in Loiko, Dimoso, and Mese. But it is enough. No, there are lots of refugee camps. People cannot get to these places to get necessary support. They have to take motorcycle or they have to walk. So because the journey is long, it costs them too much to get to them. And we cannot get there either. It's hard for us to get to these places either. And in some journeys, they have to go through the hunters' checkpoints. So these are the challenges that we face. And for the survivors of so when there are emergency needs, we refer them to the area, so the places where they can get supports in this area. If they have to be operated, like if they need to go to Damji or Yangon or to the borderline, they don't have the documentations to go to these places. If they need to go to Damji, they have to go through the junta-controlled area if they come from Dumaso. So they are more suspicious and they question them and they interrogate them. Therefore, people are afraid. So they just stay here and they would just die here. When we let them stay in a safe house, so they're here, but they cannot go back to their villages after 3 or 6 months. So if they have to stay here for a year long, like this is heavy for them regarding the costs, and they need further support for their work and food and shelter. And now the funding is also cut. Therefore, we are having financial difficulties. So we only have to work together as a community, using manpower to cook together and to help each other. After the foundation of IEC in 2023, so we have the agenda of gender framework. Now, under this framework, we continue working on it. Although we haven't been able to finalize it, So we have some capacity to refer them to the legal support, and we think together how we can empower the women. And in the past, the administration didn't think about the gender issues, but now they are more aware of it, and they are getting more involved in it. So by looking at it, this framework has positive effects on implementing the plans, but it is not complete yet. We have a lot to do in the future. In the past, now, if things are related to gender issues, only men handle these jobs. So it is difficult for the woman to participate. So we raise awareness on the inclusion of women. So later we can do more in founding the committees and promote more women inclusion in there. We see that women are getting more and more participating in these areas. So when women are in danger or when they are assaulted, so we have the Karenni police force, and the women groups and the CSOs are now more and more able to collaborate. And we still have to build up more support systems. And in Karenni state, in order to have more women leadership, so we need to promote more awareness, like on GVB issues, GVB policies, and how to run our mechanism using the systems. Especially after the coup, we see that more women are involved in the protests. So this is women leadership. Women are getting more and more involved in the leadership role. In the past, we didn't see this kind of revolution just like this. Now, women are in their own way trying to get involved more and more in the helping people in the leading role. So we look for the ways, like the safer ways to give support. And so these are the strong points, but there are still things that we have to continue working on. So I want to present these strengths and weaknesses in round 2.
Thank you so much, Maw Pray Myar. Both you and Banya have referenced the U.S. aid freeze, and that act itself has impacted millions across the world and has left a significant impact on civil society and the vulnerable populations in Burma and along its borders. But I think it was really powerful to hear that in spite of this aid freeze, you're still continuing with your work and adapting yourself to come together more as a community and still raising awareness of what's happening to women, raising awareness on their rights. And we're not seeing a damper on women and their leadership. They're still pushing through in spite of the challenges that they're facing. So it was really powerful to hear, and that you're still pushing through in spite of it all. So thank you very much for sharing that very powerful testimony. So I'd like to turn to you, Aung Zay Ya. This is rounding out our second round of questions before we go into final thoughts. So Banya touched a bit on how they have worked with Free Burma Rangers, and you've also talked a little bit about it in our first round. But I would like to dive a bit deeper in the coordination with local civil society, the IEC, if there's any specific roles within your response network, and how are you able to each effectively contribute when it comes to sharing resources and information? And then in addition, how are you able to identify the most urgent medical needs? And then what strategies that you use with your partner organizations to prioritize and distribute medical resources and where they're needed most? I know it can be particularly challenging, as you all have mentioned, the aid freeze, the barriers to humanitarian aid implemented by the junta. So if you can also share some of the challenges that you also face when it comes to coordination with all these different partners, but then how do you overcome these challenges as well?
For the round two. So we have three type of Medicare support to ethnic M groups, IDB, and local administration or IC. So for the resistant M group, mostly we support the like a trauma unit set like a tourniquet, chest seal, like a normal sling that will be used on the front line. So for the IDB, we share the Medicare unit. So that one unit can cover 1,000 people for Sinman. So some of the IDB they have a small clinic which operated by the CDM nurse and some of the Medicare assistant people. So when we share the Medicare unit, the clinic they send back the Medicare report to us. So we reviewing the Medicare report. So and then we know which medication most used in the clinic, and then we make a report to the Free Burma Ranger from the Chiang Mai. So we need this medication and the next med unit. So for the hospital, so our Free Burma Ranger support like mostly like a financial support, set like an X-ray or something like that. And also sometimes we invite that some of the foreigner daughter, like the daughter from Germany, the daughter from Korea. So they came to the Karenni, and then they conducted the advanced surgical skill to the daughter from the ground. Also, for some of the area is pretty far away from our Free Burma Ranger team, but we conduct like a GSC program. GSC program is stand for Golai Club program. So is we sing together with the IDB kid and the people make their soul and with their body to honestly refresh again. So and also we conduct like a mobile medical service for that area before we start our mission. Also we coordinate with the administration of IC, the CSO from that area, and then we ask which part is most need Medicare help and then Medicare checkup. So when they give the information, so when you get it, okay, we execute the mission. So that's we coordinate the IEC and ERO and look at administration. So that's why the resistant info CSO, Suez CSO administration ICs are very important for our Free Burma Ranger, because sometimes when we deliver the medicine or supply like a food or tabling to the IDB, some of the area we have to pass through the very close to the military control position. So on that situation, the ethnic M group they have to take security for us. So without their help, it's sure we won't be. It's not secure for the team. And for the CSO and local administration of IEC, so some of the IDB they know the Free Burma Ranger provide the humanitarian assistance to the IDB, but they doesn't know how to coordinate, how to connect to the Free Burma Ranger, because we doesn't have after the 2021 all the area of training is shut down the mobile network. So even some of the area doesn't have a Starlink to communicate to Free Burma Ranger. So they contact to the CSO and the local administration, and the local administration they give the information to the Free Burma Ranger. So and then we share the Medicare or some of the food or some of the humanitarian assistance to them. So that's why we are supporting to each other. If Freedom Ranger without this identity M groups, IEC and the CSO, so it's sure we couldn't provide the help and support to the people. And also I want to say like some of the Indonesian have already with what with the identity M groups, for example, like IEC, like Maw Pray Myar, KNWO. That's a really effective way to the people who being attacked. But some of the Indonesian organization work with the military junta. So when they provide the humanitarian assistance, it's not radical to the people being attacked. So the military junta, they just keep the humanitarian assistance and then they share to the their people from the military, not to the people. Some of the people they resort all the humanitarian assistance, like for example, like a food or something in the location. So for me is if the international organization have to work with the try work with the identity M group, it will be most effective way for the people being attacked. So it's gonna be short. That's I want to stay on the round two. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Aung Zay Ya. I think you bring up a really good point, especially for those who have worked with the junta in the past with humanitarian aid, and those who are thinking about working with the junta about with channeling humanitarian aid, is that the aid does not reach the people, that the junta will hold on to it and disperse within the military, and that the aid doesn't actually reach the impacted people. So I think you bring up a really good point. But just hearing you, Banya, Maw Pray Myar, that, in spite of all the challenges that you all face, as within different organizations and within IEC, that you're also able to work together in some capacity, and that it doesn't limit your work, that you're willing to work with each other to further your reach. So I think that it's really, really powerful to hear that in spite of all the challenges or hurdles or hindrances you face, you're still pushing forward, you're still working together, and you're still, providing that necessary support to the people on the ground. I do want to apologize to our audience that we are past our 1 hour mark, so we're not going to be able to do our Q&A. Though, if you have shared a question or if you'd like to ask a question, you can certainly email us at USCB. What we'll do is we'll take the questions that have been asked, we'll share with our panel, and then we will share with you what our panelists have shared back for their answers. So I do apologize. I would just wanted to give our panel, at least one moment before we wrap up to give their final thoughts and to share one call to the international community, to regional actors, or specifically to the US. When it comes to immediate action to help protect and support the people in Karenni State. So I'd like to start off with Banya, then we'll go to Maw Pray Myar, and then we'll go to Aung Zay Ya. So Banya, for our final round of questions, if you share your final thoughts and your call to action.
Well, thanks for this third round. So I will make it short. We need your mercy. We need your support. It is not because it is not because of we cannot do by ourselves. We do by ourselves many things, but we need we need your hands now. We need your hands. We need your mercy. At humans in this world, we share in this world together. We share our mercy. We share our sufferings. But today, in the current state or in Burma, people are much more suffering than you know. Even though we are suffering that we talk today. We are trying to struggle as much as we could, but there's still very limitation for us to be struggle alone. So we need your rights to speak up for us, for the human beings, and also we believe that you will do for us, and we believe that governments, civil society across the world, the UN agency, and also the religion leader, we are calling for humanity. We're calling for respectful society. We're calling for our freedoms. This is the only thing that we need. And also to be survived, we need your hand also. So thank you so much. I wish, I believe you held your mercy will be sure up to us soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Banya. Thank you for that heartfelt call. Maw Pray Myar.
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဆိုတော့ဒီနိုင်ငံတကာရဲ့အဖွဲ့အစည်းတွေရောပြီးလို့ရှိရင်
So to the international community, ASEAN members, and those institutions, to speak on myself, I think the other women are having the same feeling. So our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents have faced those atrocities. We saw with our own eyes how people are killed, how people are murdered. Now, in our times, in front of our eyes, we're seeing bombs kill people. And since I myself is doing this work, I see which groups of people are suffering. So I don't want this to happen again in my children's age. And Karenni government cannot do it alone. We need the support of the international community and their pressure. So since the junta, to stop the junta's armed atrocities, so the role of the international community is very important. They are destroying our homes, our schools in many ways. So we women don't have places to stay, places to work, and we have no safety. And we want it to end. So we need the support. There are some countries that are supporting the junta in order to conduct the airstrikes. So and another thing is, when you help the people in order to be effective, if you go through the junta, it won't be effective, never. So they take everything. No. So all the support, if the support are given through the junta, they never get to the people. So we need you to go to the ground level, the real people. And as I said earlier, the women and children need more support. And we need to do more on it. And we're not only asking, we ourselves, the women and the elders, the children, we want the best future for all of us. So if everybody in every area of the world can collaborate to end these atrocities, it will be a better future for us to to invest in our country's future. Thank you.
Thank you, Maw Pray Myar, for that passionate plea. You know, I wholeheartedly agree that, you know, we all have to come together in supporting the people on the ground, including those in Karenni State. Aung Zay Ya, you'll be rounding out this final round.
Yes. So I want to say after the coup has happened, all of our young people, of our people, they lost their dream, freedom, voice, everything. So yeah, after 2022, I have been a lot of the better. SAC, they have a weapon, but they doesn't use a lot of the modern weapon I've never seen. But after 2022, China, Russia, they support a lot to the military junta. So they use a lot of the drone, the new jet fighter, ammunition, and then their jet fighter, their drone is targeting to the church, school, ID place. Not only in the Karenni, every day in the Burma, a lot of the innocent people is being killed by the SAC, military junta jet fighter and drone strike. So from here, I just want to call out, one, we need the prayer for the Burma. Two, the right humanitarian assistance to the people being attacked, not to the military junta. Three, political reconciliation with pro-democracy group. Bring everyone, which including the leadership. Four, something to stop the drone and airstrike. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our panel for your powerful, your passionate words of advice and just that urgent call for support on the ground. So on behalf of USCB, I want to extend our sincerest gratitude to all of our guest speakers. You know, your contributions to this event is very vital and it's deeply important to this conversation. It's an ongoing conversation. It's been ongoing since 2021. You know, your insights, your experiences, your expertise, they really help shed light on the urgent realities facing the people of Karenni State. Today's discussion has not been easy. We've confronted the devastating impacts of aerial bombardment, the ongoing violations of women's rights, the severe strain on emergency civilians and civilian protection. I mean, these are difficult truths, but they are necessary to understand, you know, how are we able to respond as a community with clarity and action? Now, each of our speakers have made invaluable contributions. They're still working together to continue that support, but they can't do it alone. And we are deeply thankful to you all, Banya, Aung Zay Ya, and Maw Pray Myar, for your commitment to supporting these communities, amplifying their voices through you and the realities that they are experiencing today. So as we close, I would really encourage our audience to continue to stay engaged. You can certainly follow USCB on our website and social media challenges. However, you can follow KNWO, Free Burma Rangers, Karenni human rights groups, and the IEC. They themselves have platforms on social media. They do have an online presence, so you're more than welcome to follow them and get timely updates about what they are doing on the ground to support the communities that they serve and ways to take action to support them. You know, each of them have put out a call. They've shared on how they can be supported. So we can certainly raise that and elevate it to those who can provide those means or supports. We also invite you to continue carrying this conversation forward. This is not something that ends today once this Zoom ends. It's an ongoing reality for all of these communities and for all of these organizations. So share within your networks, share within your spheres of influence. Real progress depends on continued awareness, solidarity, and coordinated action. As part of our online series, you know, today we spoke on Karenni. Next month, we will speak on what is happening in Chin State. So please do keep an eye out for the ongoing or the next episode in our webinar series. But thank you especially for being a part of this important conversation, to hearing what our panelists have shared today. You know, we look forward to continuing this work together with our esteemed panelists, but also with you, our audience, and strengthening our collective efforts to stand with the people of Burma. Thank you so much. Have a good day and good night, wherever you may be.